Good morning and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to be upgrading my off-grid solar powered irrigation system. Now this system, I made a video on this about 2-3 years ago and I've done a few little upgrades along the way, but now we're due for a big upgrade. So in a bit we'll go through all the various upgrades and how I've improved it so you could, do the same for yours. But the problem we've got now is as the trees have got bigger, they need more frequent watering intervals, and they also need watering for longer. And the solar power, the solar panel can no longer cope with that, the little one we had, or the battery. And yeah, it's just cutting out and it's not working. Now we're due to go to northern Spain in just under a month, and we've got quite a few jobs that need doing beforehand, things we'd like to do and things that really definitely need doing. This is one of them. This has got to be right before we go away. Our dates are completely inflexible because we're doing the route of the carriers up in northern Spain, and we're booked into a hostel at the other end. So we've really got to, we're really firm on our times this time. So this video is a bit of a follow-on video. If you followed the channel, you'll know my previous video I did was we tested an off-grid solar-powered router and did all our security cameras from the motorhome. We nicked them from the motorhome and checked the range and see if we were going to be able to put them where we wanted to put them. Before we had a 4G system with just one camera, but I want to add more cameras, and once you get over one camera, the 4G camera system isn't really viable because of multiple contracts, and you need to start adding Wi-Fi cameras. But we tested that and that worked, and we also tested a 4-channel Wi-Fi switch, and that's another upgrade we're going to do today. We're going to take out the electric timers and we're going to do a Wi-Fi switch in there, 4 separate channels, so we can do 4 separate valves. And then if we have a particularly cloudy day and we don't think it's going to charge, we could switch it off with the mobile phone. If we have a really rainy day and we're away, we can switch the irrigation system off completely, and save the water. So yeah, there's a lot of options there, and I think there's probably going to be various other options around the land as the years go on where we can add extra things on because of this Wi-Fi system. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the new panel, and then we'll get down the bottom, we'll get to fitting that, and I'll run through all the other things as we go. Okay, so this is the panel we've got. Now I just want to make clear from the start here, this is complete and utter overkill here. This is a 150 watts, this panel, and it's the old panel actually from our motorhome. We've now upgraded that, and this has been left kicking around. Now I actually troubleshot this through AI when I started designing, the setup, and we come up with a figure of 80 watts is enough for this system, more than enough, still overkill, but you will cope for any other situation. So we're well over, but then it's not to say we won't want to add other things at a later date. We've got that option. It sort of future-proofs things a little bit. So we bought this kit. This one comes from Amazon. It's got these 4 bars here to sort of give you your angle. You can extend these, and then you've got these brackets at the bottom. Now if you watched the previous video, recall we put the actual concrete strip sort of down at the bottom for these to bolt into, so that's going to be the first job today. I've done as much as I possibly can at home. I've sort of lined these all up to what I think is going to be the best angle. You can sort of have these that way or a bit further that way. I think we're going to need them where they are, with this length of the concrete strips that I've put in, but we don't really know until we get down there. But I think I've done as much as I can in the shade at home, put all the wires and everything. This wire isn't, obviously it's a special, solar power wire, but it's what we had on the motorhome. And like I say, for the power we need, I think it's going to be more than enough. So let's get this down the bottom, get it sort of lined up and everything, and see how it fits. Okay, so that didn't go to plan at all. I wanted the panels to sit in here more or less where it is, but probably a little bit further back into there. I wanted it to just clear here because I want to bring the cables along underneath here, sort of up the side of this post here and then into the back of the box. So it's completely out the sun at all times because the sun destroys everything, it comes into contact here. but we've got the brackets off the concrete. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move this bottom bracket here over a little bit onto the concrete. We'll have to re-drill that. Same goes for the top one. It's not ideal. I would have liked to have had them further, you know, apart for stabilisation, but let's face it, it's right on the bank here. It's not going to get any wind underneath it. So I think, you know, we could have just laid it on the bank and it probably would have been all right. So I'm going to go back, get a drill and re-drill those holes. Okay, so I never normally use these coach bolts with these raw plugs here in Spain in the Almanzora Valley. We get really high winds, but given the location where we are, I'm happy to use them on this occasion. They're quite long and quite strong, so we'll go with these today. Okay guys, that's me done for this morning. I'm tired, I'm hot, and I've had enough. That's fought me every inch of the way for the past 5 hours. Something silly like just fitting a solar panel like that. Let me quickly unclip you and have a look what's going on. I'm almost there, but those two last wall plugs are fighting me as well. They've all sort of snapped off near the base, so I'm going to have to drill them and re-put plugs in and have another go at them. But I'm not messing about now, I've had enough. And then after that, we've got the wiring, and I'm certainly not starting that today. So I'll bring you back in the morning and I'll see if we have more success then. Welcome back, it's the next day, and I completed those fixings in about 10 minutes. It just goes to show, you know, there's nothing to gain by keep banging your head against a brick wall when you're tired. You may as well just pack up, go get a good night's sleep and start again in the morning. And that's certainly been the case today. So let me quickly show you around. So as you can see, we've got those fixings in there. They're well and truly bolted in now. I've tipped the solar panel more than it needs to be, sort of more at a winter angle. The reason for that is I've only got a 35 amp hour battery, and this will probably produce about 8 to 8.5 amps. Bit too much for charging that battery, but if I tip it so it's off of you know, the optimal angle, then it should be better. It'll produce less amps, which will not, you know, cook the battery. Later on, I'll probably update the battery to a lithium, so that won't make any difference at all. That'll take high ampage, you know, it won't bother it at all. But that one's currently a gel battery. So as you see with this, that's not budging an inch. So I'm happy with that, even though it fought me all the way through it. So I'm going to take the cable up here in a minute, sort of strap this up through here. I've drilled a little hole through the bottom of this box here. So what I'll do is I'll feed that through and then I'll bring you back in. Okay, so as you can see, that cable's come through in through the bottom of the box there. That's sort of come round. So we'll get round there, hug the sort of the edge of the pole there, out the sun. So that's ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through the original setup and I'll tell you what I've changed. So obviously this was the original setup, this little solar panel here and this charge controller. This is 40 amps, so thankfully we're not going to have to upgrade that. We had three timers. And now I allowed room for another one. Electric timers, they work really well. The only thing is obviously you have to change them, come down here, bend here and change them different times of the year to alter, you know, how many times it gets water in and that. It's easy to get it wrong, and then you don't know until, you know, you go down and it hasn't watered or it's watered, you know, too much. So yeah, this will be a great improvement, the new system there. Now the original battery was this little battery in here, and it's slotted in there perfect. The problem is, even though it worked out on paper, you know, correct, with plenty of, you know, sort of margins fit to take more charge, it didn't work. It wasn't enough. So then I had to add another box, and we've got this bigger battery underneath here, which is a 35 amp hour battery. So that battery's going to stay for now, even though I suspect it's probably damaged and it's not any good anymore. It's still showing about, well, you can see 11.7 volts, so it's not ideal. So that's going to stay for now, and I'll quickly just show you the valves which we've changed as well. So get down here, these are the valves. Now this is a really good see if I can get you out the shade. This is a really good quality valve, and it's got a sort of a diaphragm here which allows the water through. The problem is it restricts flow, and at this part of the farm we're working on gravity from the main depositor at the top. So yeah, it restricted flow too much and didn't need to. These ones, which are considerably cheaper, these are like €2 or €3. They come in on and it takes voltage to switch them off, or off and it takes voltage to switch them on. We've got off and it takes voltage to switch it on because we irrigate less than we don't irrigate, if that makes any sense. But these work incredibly well. These are very much fit and forget. I've never had a problem with these at all. They don't restrict flow because they're more or less a straight through when they open. And very similar sort of thing if you've ever repaired a washing machine or a dishwasher. The inlet valve from the main feeder hose into a washing machine, it's the same sort of thing as that, just a basic solenoid valve, and they work extremely well, and they draw very little ampage. Just one more thing I want to say before we move on is I made a major mistake in here. These wiring, you've got 2 wires here for your solar panel, 2 for your battery, and then 2 for your draw, you know, your actual you know, you pull on the electric to your individual components. I made the mistake of attaching my timers and my valves directly to the battery. Now the problem with that is if you connect it in properly to the charge controller, when it gets below a certain voltage, the charge controller will cut off, and it'll stop it from getting discharged too much. Of course, this is why I'm killing my batteries, because I didn't connect it to that, and I've been discharging my batteries too much, and eventually it kills them. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the old solar panel, disconnect the battery and everything, and get all these timers out so we've got sort of a clean space to start work with. Okay, so I've just brought you in quickly to show you this wiring. Because you've got these timers and they all need a separate negative and a live to feed them individually, you see the wiring's quite complex. There's a lot of looping going on here. That's all going to be done away with because we've got this Wi-Fi box here. It only needs one live and negative feed, and then these top ones are just sort of switching a wire to the actual valves. So let's simplify it now end. So I just thought I'd show you that before I strip all those out again. Okay, so I brought this panel home so I can work on it in comfort. What we've got here is the original charge controller. That's up to the job, so no problem there. We're keeping the old fuse box because that's working perfectly well. And then, of course, we've got our new Wi-Fi switch, which we've stuck on with double-sided tape. It's the same stuff I used to stick on the GPS aerial on the windscreen, so I know it works well. That's not going to shift when it's inside the box. So wiring is as follows. With out of the feed from the controller, not from the battery this time, we've got the positive wire that goes all the way around through here and loops to all the connectors on this fuse box. Out the fuse box, the first one, the red wire, goes into the feed that controls the actual Wi-Fi switch. The rest of them all individually go up to the comm units. Now this is a 4-channel one. What I've done is I'm not using the 4th one at the minute, so I've just taken this down to the bottom here, and as you can see, I've capped that off down there. Now from there we've connected these black cables. You can barely see them behind here now, but the black cables there we've connected to the NO, basically normally open circuit, which is what we want. And they're coming all the way down here, and they're all left loose. There's 3 of them, I think you can see just down there, 1, 2, 3, and they're going to be connected to the positives of the actual water valves, you know, so they can shut off. Now from the water valves, we've still got negatives coming for them, obviously, so we're going to have the water valve negatives connected to this wire here, which is a negative feed to the Wi-Fi switch, and then that's going to be connected to the negative coming out of the charge controller. I think I've got it all there. I've added a fuse here. That's going to go to the battery. That'll be the battery feed in, and then obviously we'll have the negative coming straight from the battery into here, and then we've got the negative and the positive from the solar panel to go in here. I've got to order a fuse because I haven't got a big enough one actually for the solar panel, but for now we've got to get the system working, so we'll risk it and just connect it up for now. So I think that's about as much as we can do from here. Now we've got to get back down to the farm and get it wired into the box. Good afternoon and welcome back. It's been about a week since I fitted the Wi-Fi switch into the box and started testing the irrigation system. So it's had a good test. It's been working perfectly, but it didn't, like the whole project, didn't go without a hitch. I was having problems with the Wi-Fi switch. It was dropping in and out of reception and switching on and off. So that was no good, but I found a solution. I started by taking the old solar panel off the top here, that little one, thinking that might block the signal a bit. I've also loaded that pile of boulders up there. There was a great big boulder on the top, which was probably absorbing a lot of the sort of signal from the router, and I adjusted the aerials on the route up there as well. Now it's working perfectly, it hasn't been dropping out at all, and I've had no problems whatsoever. So what I've done now is I've set the olive cheese, they're coming on twice a week for 6 hours. I've set the orange cheese on the other alternate days, they're coming on three times a week for 3 hours. And then on the days when neither of them are sort of you know, watering, I've been putting the lines on for 10 minutes in the morning to sort of flush them through and stop them from blocking and sort of, you know, wash any cal out. Or that's the theory at least. We'll see how well that works. Now, I've just done one more small modification under the advice of AI. I was a bit reluctant to do it because it's working and I'm sort of thinking, you know, it's working, why mess with it? But what AI has advised me to do is put an actual diode between the negative and the live on the actual solenoid valve. I'll try and show you here, but it is very small. It's there's a bag of them there I bought, and they're tiny little things there. And what you got to do, it's silver at one end and black at the other. The silver goes to positive. So what I've done is I've just cut the spade connectors off and re-crimped them with the actual diode, you know, crimped in with the wire there. I've just retested it. It seems to be working fine, and I've sort of I have done it. I've got another 2 weeks to keep testing to make sure it's all right, because whilst it's working perfectly well now, you can be damn sure when I get 1,000 kilometres away in northern Spain, that's the time it's going to start playing up. And I really, you know, I haven't got anybody to come around and switch it all off or do anything really. So yeah, we'll be kind of stuck if it, you know, messes about whilst we're up there. So I'll just give a quick show inside the box. It all looks fairly tidy. There's sort of just this one box now instead of all the wires from before, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's maintaining now with the sun out. Thank you for that. For the sun out, 12.6 volts. I suspect the battery is not great, but the minute I'm watering when it's sort of in the daytime. Later on, I'd like to order water at night, so we haven't got the sort of the evaporation and the lines are cooler. But for now, we're just going to have to stick with for the day, and that'll be a project for later, probably when I get a new battery in there. So I think I'm going to end that video there. I'm certainly going to be glad to see the end of this project. I'm going to thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.